Good evening, everyone. I'm Akash Lopinda with your JCN News for this Tuesday, March 5th. The European Union seems to be proving its fiercest critics true. No sooner has the Bahamas and others like it complied with one set of rules, the group hits back with another round of stringent requirements. For instance, the EU's now demanding money laundering convictions, deeming the Bahamas a stubborn case. In an exclusive Skype interview with our news team from Brussels, Belgium, Sven Gingold, a EU Member of Parliament and a coordinator on the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee for the Greens Group, the fifth largest group in the European Parliament, said visits like the one Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and Attorney General Karl Bethel made earlier this year is not as important as solving the issues. And passing laws just isn't efficient.
And if in a certain jurisdiction, although it has a larger financial place, a larger financial center, nobody is convicted, that is a clear sign that your regime doesn't deliver. And that is the reason why the Bahamas were seen as a country which has not solved all the problems. And this is not about destroying anyone's business. It is about that everybody who does business has to play by the globally agreed rules.
Now, the government has expressed every confidence that the compendium of bills debated and passed in Parliament last December, as well as the final that went off to Brussels recently, will assure that Bahamas is not blacklisted again. In other news this evening, the opposition's claiming victimization. This in the wake of reports that Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Clarence Rackley was instructed to take vacation, following which early retirement. According to opposition leader Philip Davis, the instructions were sent from the office of the Prime Minister.
I just received a call just before the start of this press conference that the office of the Prime Minister directed the Commissioner of Police to sever the employment of Senior Assistant Commissioner Michael Rackley, that he was to take immediate vacation, and at the end of that vacation he should be retired.
ACP Rackley's reported early retirement comes just weeks after his wife, former Deputy Director of Urban Renewal in Grand Bahama, Michelle Rackley, was locked up, arraigned, and spent a night behind bars along with three others on a litany of fraud-related charges.
What manner of persons are running this country? He terminates the services of a Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police who has served the police force well. As far as I'm aware, there are no question about the meritorious services that he provided in his role as a police officer serving this country. He is fired, but Dames still remains.
The four were eventually released on bail. Our news team reached out to National Security Minister Marvin Dames for comment on the issue. However, those calls were not returned up to ear time. Meantime, the opposition spokesman on national security, Glenys Hannah Martins, expressing concern over the police's apparent lie in the reporting of apparent kidnappings. This particularly following the case reported this past Sunday. Now, police say a male abducted a child from a home on Wilton Street early Sunday. The child was found by a passerby a short time later walking in the area of Woodland Gardens. Mrs. Hannah Martin stressing in a release that timely alerts are important as they allow for the community to be vigilant and may even possibly increase the chances of protecting children in such circumstances. The PLP MP is then strongly urging National Security Minister Marvin Dames to implement the Marco Alert system, as they may be a disturbing trend of the victimization of the most vulnerable in society. Now, for his part, Minister Dames recently explained that tests were being done on the Marco Alert system. At the time, he noted that the company tasked with the job is now putting together a proposal. Well, no question about it. News that HIV has been deemed undetectable in a London patient following a stem cell transplant is landmark. After all, it's only the second such case. But as Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands put it to reporters outside Cabinet this morning, it's certainly not ready for what he called prime time.
It is certainly not ready for prime time, and it is certainly not the approach that we would want to take. for people, everybody suffering with HIV. But I will say that the Bahamas has made the commitment to try to be the first country to eradicate HIV in the world. And so we have now looked at whether we can become once again the world leader. The Bahamas was once the world leader in vertical transmission or mother-to-child transmission of HIV. We kind of lost some ground. We now believe that with modifying our approach to HIV, to make sure that everybody is tested, to make sure that everybody that is tested has access to therapy, and that the therapy suppresses the virus.
Now, a major component of HIV therapy is manufactured right here in the Bahamas. According to Dr. Sands, the company behind this has expressed a willingness to partner with the Bahamas in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
We have revised our approach to the management of HIV, resistant HIV. We have modified the plan for testing patients, and we're going to start rolling out a pilot program to do universal testing. It's voluntary, obviously, but once you know your status, then that's the best way to avail yourself of treatment.
There are said to be 5,000 plus people living with HIV here in the Bahamas. Meantime, UK researchers say it's too early to say if the London patient has been cured of the disease. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.